What's going on, guys? Necromancer Noob, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing and talking about Remnant 2's second DLC, The Forgotten Kingdom. If you'd like, leave a like, subscribe, consider checking out more videos on my channel. This is a Noob's review. We're going to figure out, is Remnant 2 worth jumping back in after this patch and the DLC? So let's talk about the looks, the setting, the ambiance that this DLC gives. I like it. I'm a fan. I mean, I feel like they can't do Yeisha wrong, so they're already on the right track, but I love the color scheme. A lot of blues, purples. Yeisha, just the forest in general, is very nice. It's very pleasing to the eyes, if I'm going to put it in short. I really like the design of the enemies. I like the design of the world itself. Yeisha, they did a really good job. When it comes to the design as well, there are a few familiar enemies with different color changes or palette changes. They do have different move sets as well, so they're not completely the same.
New enemy types that are very creative, and I like the style, so kudos to that. Now when it comes to the story for the DLC, I think I enjoy the story of the first DLC a little more than this one. Just in terms of looks and styles, this one takes the cake with enemy design and overall world design. And the really nice thing about games like Remnant is the story is as much as you want it to be. You could skip all the dialogue and just not talk to a lot of the NPCs, which you'd be missing out a lot of the possible items and equipment. Or you could talk to a lot of the NPCs, and boy, do they talk. They love the talk, in fact. If you want lore, they will give you lore and they will talk your ear out.
Another thing I want to mention as well, the voice acting was done very well. Few of the specific characters, Private Jack, main villain, or I guess you could say the world boss, Ladusa, a few other things along those lines, all very good voices. I think they did a really good job along those lines. But I don't want to get too sidetracked, so we talked about a little bit of the story, we talked about a little bit of the voice acting, the looks. Let's talk about some of the gameplay, what they have that's new and what is different with this DLC coming with it. And let me tell you, this is probably one of the biggest, I mean, definitely the biggest from Remnant, but in terms of games in general, a very big update. I mean, their patch notes were 12,000 words. I don't know if I see other games dropping a 12,000 word update like Remnant, but either way, let's talk about that as well. I mean, it changed just about everything in the game. A lot of the damage has been changed, a lot of the builds, the meta is definitely different now. But is that a good thing? In my opinion, I want to say yes. Just because they nerfed a few of your favorite weapons doesn't mean this is a bad update. I'm just saying. Stay tuned for that. I definitely want to make a video talking about the changes that they made in this meta and this patch notes and why I think it's a really good thing. I think this is another good reason because when they change everything like this, and very big changes as well, I mean, a lot of percentages have totally changed, so metas are totally different. Some of these builds might suck now, but like I said, I think that's a good thing because a lot of people have the same cookie cutter DPS builds, high crit builds, high crit chance.
Just because your build doesn't do as much damage as it did prior to this update, it doesn't mean it's bad. Maybe a few adjustments in your rings and you'll be as good as new. Try out some new rings and equipment and see what you like because like I said, they've changed just about everything with this update.
The developers just want more variety. You know, I promise it's not as bad as it seems. Like I said, I think that's a great thing because it makes a lot more new builds viable. It makes older builds viable as well. Rings that maybe people were sleeping on, people are going to be trying out now. There's going to be a whole lot of different builds coming out. Like, I guarantee that, from me included. So stay tuned for that. But now who's going to be part of my rant, right? Now, I really enjoyed this DLC. I probably spent about 20 hours on it so far, give or take. I know there's more to offer, but I just feel like maybe compared to the first one or the first DLC, there maybe isn't as much. Which, granted, I mean, they did a massive overhaul with a lot of the rings, classes. I mean, just about everything's changed, whether it's for better or worse. So there is a lot of new options for people to try out and do different things, which I think is why maybe the DLC for this one isn't as fleshed out as the first one. But that being said, I know this DLC just came out, and I know there's going to be more secrets coming out as well. I mean, Remnant loves just hiding those little details and secrets for more things to find. I know there's more to offer with this DLC. I just feel like, in my opinion, maybe there wasn't as much as the first DLC. Let me know what you guys think in the opinions or what you guys thought as well. Another gripe for me as well is, I'll be honest, I like finding a lot of these secrets myself. I like figuring out a lot of these puzzles myself and just running through it the first time, seeing what I can figure out. And then maybe after a few run-throughs, I'm not finding something, I'll look it up afterwards. But I'll be honest, guys, like, sometimes I just get a little upset with how they put these secrets in, right? So for example, they got the new Invoker class. I was really excited for it. It's great. I got it. But my only gripe about it is, I ran through it one whole time. I feel like I had a very clean sweep of the map. And I was just sitting there like, okay, I don't have the Invoker class. I look it up, right? And this is spoilers, I guess, if you want to figure it out yourself, which good luck. You got to go to this one specific spot down at the bottom of this area with these darts shooting out in the sand pit. You got to sit at a specific location in that sand pit and wait 5 minutes for it to take you to a different location that will grant you the flute that you can make the Invoker class. Like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, I know you guys are expecting the fans and the people to figure that out. Like, no actual person is going to be figuring that out unless they data mine it, unless they got some inner circle of, like, the higher ups, like they heard it from someone else. So it's just a little upsetting for me because it's like I like figuring out a lot of these secrets myself, and I feel like I can't do it. I have to look it up on someone else's video because there's no way I'm going to figure this out. There's no way other people are going to figure this out. Same with there's a special gun. In the labyrinth that they added, there's 13 specific cubes. You got to shoot at specific locations. You got to make sure you do it within the right order. How are we supposed to figure this out, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I like the guns. I like the weapons. I like that there's just scavenger hunts for us to do. But sometimes I just feel like it's a little extra, right? I mean, I just wish you could just figure it out yourself. But, hey, maybe I'm just complaining. Maybe I'm just griping. Not to mention one more gripe for me. This is probably the biggest one. Didn't really struggle too much with the world boss. I took a few tries and the world boss was done, and that was that. I had more trouble with a few of the other bosses, like the Stone Warden, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys thought. I just feel like, I don't know, they need to up the difficulty almost for this DLC. I mean, I felt that way with the first DLC with the Nameless King. I feel like he was kind of a pushover. I don't think he was that challenging or hard. But maybe, I'm just talking out of my butt. But anyways, I just wish that the bosses were a little more difficult. I think running through the areas is difficult enough. And then kind of felt like some of these bosses were just a pushover. I mean, for example, Annihilation, one of the best bosses out of any game series, in my opinion. They did a really good job with him. He's very challenging. He has a lot to offer. The boss from the DLC for the first Remnant, I don't know if you guys played it, but Hargsgard, if I remember his name right, that was the final boss in the Elysium DLC. It was subject something. Forgive me. My mind's blanking, but anyways, I thought that was an awesome boss as well. They did such a good job with that boss design and how he played out. So I know they got it in them. I just want to see a little more challenge, a little more creativity with these bosses, because I know they can do it. They've made some challenging bosses in the past, and I just feel like, I don't know, maybe they're going a little easy on us. But real fast, let's talk about some more positives. A lot of really good changes as well when it came to the quality of life of the game. A lot of the glitches have been fixed. I'll be honest, playing this game, I didn't have any crashes. I do play on PS5, but that is a lot different than what I had prior. For this update, there'd be a lot of times I'd leave the game running for an hour, I'd come back, it crashed, or I'd play for a few minutes, it crashed. I'd play with my friends, it'd crash. I didn't have any issues with the game crashing, any hiccups, but let me know in the comments if you guys have dealt with anything differently. Another quality of life change, along with just the game not crashing as much. One thing I really like, that they got an FOV slider for console for Remnant 2, which I think is such a game changer. It makes everything look a lot better in my opinion, spreading it out a little bit with that FOV slider. But, just nice changes like that. They made it simpler to do crossplay. So good changes all around, but they didn't add a filter for the rings and amulets, which come on guys, you guys need to add it at this point. We got way too many rings. I mean, I'll literally look for a ring, spend a minute in there, and then my mind will go blank. It's like walking into a room knowing you're going to get something, and then your mind just shuts down because there's just way too much going on. That's how I feel every time I look at the rings and the amulets. I have an idea of what I'm looking for, and then I'm looking for it, and then I completely forget, and then next thing you know, I'm like trying to make a completely different build, which sucks because there are certain things I'm trying to do and I can't remember because there's just way too much in the layout of the ring. So overall, like I said, they added a lot of good changes to the game. I like the story, I like the layout, I like Yeisha in general. The boss designs were fun. I like the weapons that they've added and the new mods. I think a lot of stuff they did very well. They got a good blueprint on things, so I think it's hard for them to mess it up. But like I said, I really wish they would have added a filter for the rings. I wish there was a little more difficulty with the bosses. I wish there was just a little more content, in my opinion, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I haven't done enough. Let's get down to the review. So right off the bat, I mean, this is a $10 DLC, which, I mean, you can't find that in other games right now, so you have to put that up higher. If I were to give this a review, a rating, I guess I'd give it like an 8, an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, I just wish it was a little more difficult. I wish there was just a little more to it. I just really wish they would have added a filter for those rings, but that aside, they're on the right track. I think the changes with this patch note were very good for the game. I like the DLC. I'm still going to be having fun with it. There's still going to be a lot for me to explore and do. And that's my review, guys. If you guys liked it, leave a like, consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, what you guys enjoyed, what you guys disliked. I'll be honest, I want to see more things. Like, I want to see the older areas like Rezium. I want to see ROM. I want to see a lot of these other areas' courses come back. But maybe that's for a different time. Maybe that's they got plans for it. Who knows? We'll have to see in the future. But overall, I think this is a great time to come back to Remnant 2. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. Thanks for checking out the video. Consider subscribing, trying to hit 700, maybe more. So I will see you guys in future videos, and I'll catch you guys in a later one. Bye-bye.